Hey guys, look at
Hey.
this little mic.
Welcome to the Hum Over Hustle Live. We are back. So, we want to know how your Thanksgiving went. And I know some people don't believe in it, but, certain countries and things. But, it's funny. I was on Oahu for a little bit on business, and I was talking to a guy from New Zealand, and he goes, I don't have any clue the Thanksgiving thing, of course, because it's America thing, but it's interesting to just think about, okay, wait a minute, I just feel like everybody does that, right? So, yeah, of course, had the turkey and all the good stuff, and got stuffed. I'm sure you did as well if you eat turkey.
Yeah, he flew in Thanksgiving Day. Hey, there was no traffic.
No
it was
traffic.
like effortless. It came right in, picked him right up, and went right out. That was so nice.
Yeah,
I'm sure
so
you guys probably ran into some crazy traffic out there and crazy people. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. I'm gonna jump way ahead.
Oh. I'm putting it out there.
I know. So, all right, we're glad to be back. We have some really juicy stuff to dispense and share that we've been really receiving along our journey. And you guys, some of you know this because you've been watching and been blessed by this, but this is just our journey out loud. And we don't really necessarily, humanity doesn't need any more teaching more than we need to remember. In fact, that's what Christ came to do, was call us to remembrance, not necessarily teach us anything new, because we already had it inside of us as being one with him. And so I know that may blow the cork on some of the disciplers out there, but it's very true. Your spirit already knows. So the layers on top of the spirit are the issue, the conditioning, the programming, all of the unveiling, the woundedness. It just buries the remembrance. And so we're remembering Eden, all of us. And hey guys,
yay,
good to see you.
you guys. Woohoo.
Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I'm sure you did.
Yes, we want to see pictures.
Being a chef and all.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're just waking up, guys. That's what this is all about. This is what this journey is about. This is what we're discovering, is the more we awaken to remember, it's a awakening to remembrance.
Yeah.
And the more we don't remember, then we're stuck in the false matrix of the ego, and then we just do egoic things all the time, right?
Yeah.
So we're waking up, we're awakening. And today we wanted to talk more about what that looks like when Eden is rising. Okay, so I'll just begin with this, and then I know Amy wanted to jump in with some really good stuff. But Eden is constantly rising. So look at it like the kingdom. The kingdom is constantly swelling. Look at it like a groundswell or a swell in the ocean. It's just, the swell is rising, and it's a beautiful, beautiful rising. The issue is that it bumps up against that which is inside of humanity. And so when it bumps up against, so to speak, just analogy, trying to find language for it, is when it comes up against the tide is rising, Eden is rising, kingdom is rising, and then it starts to meddle. Meddle, M-E-D-D-L-E, meddle.
Ooh,
with
to meddle with your life.
Yeah, meddle with our lives, meddle with our egoic structures, meddle with the false matrix. And so when it comes up against that, we have two choices. One is we just don't know what the heck's going on, and we just feel like humanity's imploding at every stream and at every turn. And then the next one is, oh, I recognize something beautiful within me and around me. I'm going to relent and relinquish the control, and then dive in as deeply as possible while we're still in this human body, so that we can experience all that Eden has to offer. It's Eden rising. We really believe that. Eden is the atmosphere, the presence of our light body, our spirit body, before we ever hit this flesh. And this is what Christ came to remind us of. Not religiously, of course, because the religious people killed him. It wasn't God that killed him. It was religion, the religiosity, the false matrix, the ego that killed Christ on the cross. So,
yeah, I mean, think about it. That was the punishment of the day. Or just
still is today.
Blot them out. So, I mean, it's just, oh, yeah. So, but what is going on right now? I'm sure you guys have just been feeling this churning, and like you're seeing it all around you. Just people
rising.
People are rising out of it, but they're also losing it. But they're losing it for a good reason, right? That really is the play on. You need to lose it. and so that the real you can emerge.
Yeah.
Because, oh man, countless people, all of us have been submerged, depressed and pushed down the real us. And this is what's happening, why we are losing it in so many different areas. All of the false things come up. I know, guys, John has a short torso. He's really actually a lot taller than me. I just have a long torso. But you're 6'2".
Makes me feel like a little kid
He's
sitting next to her.
6'1", 6'2". It's me,
That's okay. I can look like a
Squirrel.
little kid next to you. Squirrel. Sorry. Go with your thoughts.
Anyway, dear. You guys know us. We're just going to be real.
That's right.
So I wanted to share with you guys, though, because we were asking Papa God about this morning, and we just wanted to download, fill us in. What is the pulse and the pull of what's going on with humanity right now? So this is somewhat of what he shared, and we'll just jump off this. But he said, Papa said, my children feel my hum before they hear my voice. And he said, this is the moment humanity is in. Earth's frequency is rising like a tuning fork, remembering its original note, and that vibration is doing two things simultaneously. It is the shaking loose everything that wasn't built from Eden, from the original blueprint of who we truly are, right? We've been living in this false matrix, this false identities. So he said, it's removing false identities, false sources, false copying, false gods, false narratives, false selves. This shaking feels like, why is everything suddenly collapsing? Why can't I tolerate this relationship, job, identity anymore? Oh, did you even see this or feel it at Thanksgiving or around family or where you're at, where it's completely different than last year? Or, and so another is, why doesn't my old coping mechanism work anymore?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Coping mechanisms.
Yeah, hoping.
So if you, at Thanksgiving, it's meant for a lot of people to just sit there and indulge and be a glutton for a day, right? That's, a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah,
Coping. But did it feel different this year? And if it didn't, that's fine. But if you can feel or sense something different about the old stories, the old paradigms around family, the conversations, all of that, then you can realize, oh, wait a minute, I am expanding. Eden is rising in me, and I am relenting to it. I am surrendering to it. I may not understand it all, because I tell you what, the deeper we go into this rabbit hole, the more we won't understand, because we're standing under a conditioning. So we won't be understanding that.
But you'll be
feeling it. So what did it feel like over Thanksgiving? Did it feel different?
Yeah, chime in, guys. We'd love to hear.
Yeah. What did it feel like? What does it feel like in your business? What does it feel like at work? What does it feel like around family, friends, and relatives? What does it feel like driving down the road when somebody's in road rage? The example.
What does it feel? Oh my gosh, yes, you guys. So, okay.
Black Friday.
So Black Friday, we're just pulling off the on-ramp, and an SUV pulls up next to us, and this guy jumps out and just going off. Not on us, but on a car that was going up next to him.
This wasn't just going off. He was in a full-on rage, shaking, right? And so he gets out, and he slams the door, and there's people in the back seat. I think it might have been his kids or relatives. We couldn't really see, but they were buried in the phones, like, oh my gosh, Dad's embarrassing me, kind of thing. Then he gets out and he runs around the side of the SUV and just screams his brains out at another car going by. It seemed like they knew him.
When I get home,
or I'm going to get home, I'm going to take care of you, whatever. Comes back around, jumps into the driver's seat, and then stands up and keeps yelling and screaming. And so I had locked the doors, because I was like, okay, what's this dude going to do? And so I got to thinking about that. And just coming off that off-ramp, I got a download about one of the next books I want to write for the men. And so that was definite confirmation, because a lot of times men go through this silent torture. Oftentimes men don't know how to express or convey or have a conversation or open up in vulnerability, because they have to be the strong one. This is said to be true through leadership in churches, leadership in government. We see this a lot right now, right? I've often said that if a pastor or a leader would just get vulnerable for a moment, it would be an opening to something wonderful, because the congregation would say, finally. They'd say, finally, we have somebody real and relatable here. Not somebody on a pedestal that we can't add up to, because it's always the do's and the don'ts, the do's and the don'ts, the rights and the wrongs, the rights and the wrongs. Which is what Christ never preached, by the way. Christ was here to cause us to remember, and did it in such a fruit of the Spirit gentle way that had nothing to do with right and wrong. That's duality. That's not oneness. Oneness doesn't go to your spouse and say, you're wrong. Even though we do that in the egoic construct, right? Oneness says, hey, let's have a conversation about this thing that's standing before us.
Yeah.
Not you're wrong, I'm right. Because the moment we say you're wrong, I'm right, that's separation.
Yeah,
that's
it's
duality.
not full of judgments.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what we're dealing with, the false matrix. False matrix is yeah, that's true, Andrew. Thank you. Michelle, I've been so full of joy. Nothing can make me mad. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's
and Janine, she would her shooty hoodie. Woohoo!
yes, awesome.
See, you guys are tracking. You're in it with us. You know, we're waking up and tuning into it. But boy, when you feel and look around you though at others as well, it's like the hum table. You know, Papa God said, people are not losing their minds; they are losing their masks.
Oh, that's a good one for a shirt, isn't it?
Oh, you're not losing your mind; you're losing your mask. Ooh.
And what is the mask? The mask is this false sense of a conditioning that's embedded in a false matrix, and it says that I have to live this way in order to survive because I know no other way. And we do this because we've been trained, we've been programmed to believe that this is the only way. We start having an awakening after awakening after awakening. We'll have millions of them in our lifetime, I believe.
Yeah.
Because Amy and I have already had probably several 100,000 of them. And we'll have many, many more. And that's a beautiful thing, guys. It's called a rebirth. Rebirth after rebirth after rebirth.
Yeah, like we were talking about, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yes, it's so true.
Yeah, gotta be a song there. That's right, Andrew.
Hey, you can do that on your YouTube with your guitar. Bring it, Andy.
Yeah, do that one.
And Janine.
And the mask, so how often, if you're being honest with yourself, when you look at a mask, how often, I'll just talk about me because the biggest case study in the world is looking in the mirror, right? You're just like, okay, this is a good one. Whenever I wear a mask, I change the authenticity of who I am. So rather than being in the original blueprint of who I know myself to be at this point, we can only see so much because we do have blind spots, all of us. But when those blind spots start dissolving and then we start seeing the real, true, authentic us, then I begin to see it for what it is, recognize it and witness it, let myself be witnessed and then witness it. Like the mirror thing that Christ talked about. Then I can go out in society and not have to shift my personal reality, my personality to match somebody else's out of the fear of man. I can just be my authentic self. Mm-hmm. That's just one area for me where there's certain groups or certain types of individuals that I feel that because of the fear of man, in certain ways, I have to shift myself from the original. And you feel that, don't you? You feel it inside when you shift. And you're like, that wasn't me.
No, and it just, you're climbing back into a small sardine box and you're like, oh, this is stinky, I don't want to be in here. You just want to be back into your authentic self and giving ourselves permission to just be that and let fall what may around us, to where people have to choose to either adapt to the real us, which the real us is coming back into Eden, right? And we're not catering, we're not doing stuff out of obligation anymore, but we're coming from just a really centered, relaxed state, and we're just breathing instead of being constricted to try to fit into somebody to keep them happy. Yeah, the performance. Oh my gosh. Yay, the performance
is tiring, isn't
dissolving. And that's another mask that's coming off, isn't it? So
and guys, people people are so hurting and they're so hungry, aren't they? The people that you talk to, they're so hungry to be the real themselves, their real self.
Yeah.
And really that is to be spiritual. The truest spirituality is to be your authentic self. That is the reality Christ was reminding us of, is to be you. Like, he could have came in riding in a $500,000 Lamborghini, right? But he came on a donkey because he's like, look, I'm going to be me. I'm just going to mess with these guys because that's my sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna kind of mess with them, you know, because they don't want they don't want their Messiah to ride in on a jackass, a donkey. They want her to come in all shiny and polished, like they were on the outside. That's why he dressed the inside of the cup and the outside of the cup. And so when you come riding in on your own donkey and you are laughing your head off and you fall off that donkey and then you get back up and you don't care what anybody thinks, now we're talking authenticity, right?
Yeah. And it completely shatters the mimics, like the false matrix. It doesn't know what to do with that because it's like, you know, it controls by keeping everything serious and rigid and controlled and in my box, as you guys know, right? But you come in, that's why Jesus, he's so hilarious. I mean, any, you know, who has walked with him, we all know that witty spark in his eye and in his smile, and he just does it in the most beautiful, loving, hilarious way. And so, yeah, when in doubt, turn into humor and music. It'll shake it right up and off.
That's right.
So, but oh my gosh, I just read what Michelle, I'm so glad you're on the call.
Yes,
We love
good
you.
to see you.
And I just, let me go back to what you were just saying. I had one person tell me nobody should be as happy as I am all the time. I said everybody should be happy
all the time.
All the time. Oh my gosh.
That's right.
Yeah, because it's a mirror, and that's why when people are not ready to change or go over there, or our joy or your light is such a reflection that shows them where they aren't allowing themselves to come into that place. And it's just like trying to pull a clam out of a shell sometimes, isn't it? You know, but they want to spit out that clam juice at you. You know, right in your face. But you just keep shining.
And the joy, if we really look at this, you know, Christ talked more about being in joy and living in joy than most anything, right? It's like, do not be afraid. Here's the alternative, joy. Now, the difference between the two, in our view, is one person's living out of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is the egoic structure. The other person is just full on absorbed in the tree of life, which is Christ. So, I say this, he said, I say this to you so that your joy may be full. So what he was saying is, I'm reminding you guys, you already know this. You already know this because we're one. You just may not know that we're one. In your spirit, we're one. There's no duality here. The only duality is you taking your egoic construct and believing that you have to have more knowledge. But remember, love passes knowledge. Why does love surpass knowledge? Because the tree of life is much bigger than the tree of knowledge. And so the tree of life is one. We're one with the tree of life. And so the natural byproduct of Eden is joy. There is no such thing as non-joy or anything opposite of joy in heaven, which is Eden.
Unless we choose to change the meaning, right? It's just like, oh man, I know we have to catch ourselves when we say, oh, I have to do this, to, oh no, I get to do this. And
I should do this.
Yeah, I do, hence the shouldy design wear. Right? So, oh man, you can just feel, and for you, you know, you guys that are musical, Janine, Andy, and I'm sure you are too, Michelle. Of course you are. So, but you can tell, can't you? The moment you change the meaning, you change the frequency and the vibration of it from I have to I get to, or just any of it. So it's just catching those little things. But yeah, we hear you guys on that. So, so another thing that came up too, another thing was, why does it feel like my insides are screaming for something I can't name? And this is what a lot of people, we're feeling this with the whole deconstruction, with the masks falling off, with the things, the coping, that whatever, it just isn't working, the performance, anything like that. And then what's pulling off And then Papa said, I am pulling humanity back into their first breath. And the pull is a longing, an ache, a hunger, a homesickness, a dissatisfaction with every cheap substitute. And this is what's falling off as all the counterfeits, right? Because as Earth is ascending, as we are all waking up, as we are returning back to Eden, everything is being shed, everything is being revealed. That is no longer the true, the righteous, real, the true of Eden. And so again, you've got this mirror effect, and people are trying to cling on to what they know because they've never tasted Eden. Like Michelle, they're like, "What? How can you be so happy all the time? I haven't tasted that. How is that even possible?"
Right.
You know?
You should be angry like I am or depressed like I am. You know, she's saying something that's very important, I think, to highlight is people are dissatisfied with religion and the four walls.
Yes.
They're dissatisfied with everything right now, right? That you can touch, taste, and feel. And that's not to say that we can't choose joy in the midst of that. But let's just for the sake of argument or talk, that a lot of the population in the entire world is miserable, right? So what's happening is you have people desperately trying everything. Like we just heard from Zach Bush, guy that we love to listen to. He just said that, you know, there's 500 plant medicine ceremonies a week in LA alone.
Yeah,
ayahuasca.
Every weekend.
Okay? So if you don't know what ayahuasca is, but you guys probably do, but some people don't, and it's just plant medicine that's found in the jungles, and then it gives you a hallucinating psychedelic effect.
It pulls you out of your body.
They have out-of-body encounters and all this. So they're going to some outside source because they're so desperate and hungry. 500 ceremonies a week in LA alone. That's just LA, you guys. So the hunger level, what are we saying? The hunger level is they're desperately trying to find their original blueprint, trying to find heaven again inside of them.
Feel themselves.
Trying to know who they are,
yeah,
right? So we have an opportunity here. We all do. We all do. You listening, we have an opportunity here to display creativity. We don't
have to do plant medicine or anything.
We don't
like
have
that.
to do any of that. We haven't done it, and we won't. We don't need to, right? I hope that's on Wi-Fi. But anyway, so we don't find it necessary to do that because we get the high and the bliss from just entering into Eden ourselves, you know, and removing our mindsets and the constraints to say, wait a minute, I don't have to get.
On, guys.
Do we have it on?
Do you mind if we check really quick, you guys? We just need to make sure that the Wi-Fi is on. Let us know.
Pull down here.
About
connection. Anyway, so hopefully it remains for the time that we have. Just real and raw here, guys.
Yep.
Anyway, so people reach outside themselves, right, to these addictions or these vices or just something outside themselves because they're desperately wanting to find and discover the truth of the matter. Because think about social media.
Isn't wrong.
It's saturated with a million different opinions, a million different points of view. And then you have AI. You don't even know what's real anymore. AI is a good thing. I really believe God is allowing this to take place and even give man the idea so that we can discover what's real and then dive deep into what's real. And we've even found that God can come through AI and reach people. We have tasted this over and over again in the last 6 months, and tried different areas of AI, and we found that wait a minute, God can speak through technology, and He does. So that's all we'll say about that. But
and then you have powers that be that try to control it and block it, which you've experienced. Right. And because but I mean technology, right? It originated with God. We just are waking up to it. We can, people can see it in the spirit and bring it into matter. Yeah. But it originates, like you hear several near-death experiences or people going to heaven, and they talk about the incredible advanced technology on the other side. So, I mean, we're not ones to just, So anyway, but, I want to go back to the whole thing of this whole dissatisfaction with every cheap substance. And what's really going on It is the ache of original memory. And this is why these guys are going into like doing the ayahuasca or different things. And it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just, it's a substitute for the real. And people, and it's wild. You hear some of the stories. People will either meet their issues that they haven't dealt with. They will be faced with stuff right front and center, and it freaks them out and they are messed up. And then others that are like really open hearted and they're like, no, I just want to connect with the divine or connect with God, and they either see an angel or something. But it's just it's a risk, right? And so, but nonetheless, because religion has not offered presence and connection. It went into the protocols and laws and rigidness and anxiety and shame and fear. We all know the deal, right? And so the fact is, people are searching for something outside of themselves. What is this pull? They're trying to recall. They're trying to remember. Yeah. And so,
no matter what it is, could be drinking,
so Papa said,
eating.
It's the ache of an origin memory every human right now is feeling. There must be more than this. And I think I remember something. I just don't know what it is. That is Eden calling. Eden calling. And so many of us that are here right now, we chose to come at this time because it's one of the greatest, it is the greatest shift taking place. Yeah. Because everything in God is circle, right? Spirals.
Cyclical.
All come cyclical. Yeah. And so Eden is coming back online, and we're beginning to remember, we're beginning to wake up, and that's why the original blueprints and everything are starting to come online and activate. And a lot of us have codes that we came with to activate that as the original prototype. And so regarding Edenic wealth, provision, how God originally brought provision, you know, beautiful sacred relationships, how God designed us to be in relationships. Just you name it, taking care of creation of the earth, actually remembering, wow, everything is alive, you know, they're elementals, the water, the earth, the trees are alive, you know, I mean, it's just so much we forgot, and we were asleep, we were in the density and forgot about, and now we're beginning to attune to. And so it's just incredible. It's going to get so amazing, but in the midst of the truth arising, right, you've got all this volcanic activity inwardly and externally, with the shifting that's taking place. So a lot of moving furniture going on, huh?
Yeah, the earth is groaning, and I tell you what, if you turn on the news for any amount of time, you know, 5 minutes or whatever, see it on your news feed. Once in a while, I'll chime in and just say, okay, what craziness is going on now? Only because you can see the acceleration happening, right? The stuff that's going on right now with the whole Jewish Israel uproar online, the anti-Semitism, and depending on where you stand on that, it's all over the map. It's like one person is like, you're the spawn of hell because you dared question what the modern day Israel is doing at the West Bank with what they claim is genocide. And people on the ground there said that they get so angry because of what they did to Israel and the Jewish people that they just cut loose these horrific cannons in these tanks, and it just disintegrates lives, you know. They just cut it loose on everyone. So you have both sides, like, well, then the ministers or whoever that are really for any type of activity or behavior of Israel just say it doesn't matter. You should wipe out their enemies. But then what about Christ saying, I wish that none should perish, and to love your enemy? So then you have all kinds of stuff going on, right? And the volatileness, the violent mindsets and attitudes surrounding this. Like, for example, I just want to just share this for just a point of where we're at. You know, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, some people know who they are, and some people do, who are they? But a lot of people know who they are if they watch Fox News. They're conservative. Well, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson are just getting martyred right now. They're getting brutally just shredded to pieces, like death wishes all over the map. Now, whether you agree with them or not, the point is that a lot of these death threats are coming from so-called Christians. And I've watched several of these videos because I was curious. I'm like, okay, what is the big deal going on with this anti-Semitism on the rise? And now it's coming from within the camps. And I was like, what is going on? Well, this is, and I know this to be true, you guys. from when when Biden was president, and the hate, literal hate coming from Christian ministers, saying that we want him to burn in hell, we want him to fry, we want him to, the worst things to happen to him and his family. I got all those messages because I simply posted on my Facebook as a little Jesus on the donkey thing, laughing a little bit. I felt a prompt to say, I love Joe Biden, mark Jesus, signed Jesus. I love Joe Biden, Jesus. And the hate that I got on that post coming from, I know, were pastors and other Christians just wanting me to just disintegrate off the planet, basically. The point is that why is all this coming up? I really believe that anything that we still have laying in these layers in our lives that is not Eden, that does not look like heaven, does not look like kingdom, is going to have to go somewhere. We're either going to anchor in and double down like that guy that was in a rage on the highway, the road rage. We're going to double down and we're going to I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to double down on my beliefs. I'm going to double down and anchor in. That is fear. That is real fear right there. And fear, and this is exactly what Christ came to remind us of. Look, you are not made of the substance of fear.
Yeah.
It is dark shadows that come around you in your woundedness through the cracks that you have in your life. And it comes in and tries to dispel and discredit Eden. Tries to discredit heaven in you. Tries to discredit the real authentic blueprint of who you are. And so it's constantly doing that. And so Jesus was like, who are you? Remember who you are, disciples. Remember who you are, Peter. Remember who you are, John. Remember who you are, everyone. I'm reminding you of the foundation of the world and hence you came from. You just got clobbered with a bunch of conditioning from your childhood. I want to take those layers off so that you can be the real shining light, city set on a hill without religious constraints, so that you can be wildly creative without the hustle. See, when we're living in Eden, we don't hustle. Things just unfold and it comes to you, comes through you. It's effortless, it's easy. When you're in joy, everything's easy, right? But the moment we shift back in that mask into ego, oh man, things get hard. It's grind, it's grind, it's grind.
Yeah, it is. And so what are we losing? That's the thing, right? So I wanted to continue too. He said it's not that we're longing for a place. It's longing for the true self that existed before fear was taught. That's just, So, they are shedding skins that never belonged to them. Here is what Papa says. People are losing their tolerance for hustle, their attachment to opinions, their performative spirituality. Oh, aren't we glad we're getting free of that all the time? Performative spirituality, their spiritual bypassing. Oh, and that runs so huge in the spiritual communities and religious communities, is this spiritual bypassing. You're not allowed to feel. You're not allowed to, we're not allowed to do hardly anything, right? Anyway, their coping identities. So we're losing our coping identities. The numbing patterns. Losing the numbing patterns. It's not working anymore. And this is why, and so this is probably a step with the whole ayahuasca a lot of people are doing, right? It's just typical of drug use or anything, right? It's like, oh, maybe I can numb out just so I can get a glimpse. But I think it's just deeper again. It's like, I've got to feel that there's more than this. If I can just get a glimpse that there's actually a spirit realm, because this is not working. And this is the wild thing is, the cycle is, we become so spiritual and so ascended that we no longer have to be in these earth bodies. We no longer have to be. But that's it's not what God intended. He intended us, as we've shared before. We came to literally experience and embody life in matter, to enjoy the taste of food, to enjoy intimacy, to enjoy everything in a physical body, to enjoy discovery, because that's one thing, you know, even in heaven, right? We can just think it and we can have it. We're in our full flame being. We know our abilities. We know who we are. We, you know, we can speak to each other through thought alone. We know each other just, you know, and so, but Papa said the one thing that heaven cannot offer is the rediscovery. So that's why we're here in time and space
so
in the
true.
earth, because we get the joy of the treasure hunt, the joy of, okay, we're going to go in, we're going to forget who we are, we will settle with that, but the note will remain in our spirits, and we will recall, and we will remember again, and it's the joy of that discovery again. So that is a part of it, but we've got to lose all the false things that were attached to us in this, right? And so, again, losing the tolerance of hustle, losing the attachment of opinions, losing performative spirituality, losing spiritual bypassing, coping identities, numbing patterns, the false self-importance, and their old nervous system scaffolding. Whew.
Oh, wait. Pause on that
They
one.
feel like they're falling apart, but what's really happening?
Oh, my goodness.
All these structures
What was that?
we've
The
built up.
scaffolding. Let's see that again. Their old nervous system scaffolding. Yeah, Andrew just said you had me at the taste of food.
See, exactly.
I'm with you, brother.
You know you came down. Papa's like, all right, Andy, you want to go down? He goes, and you're like, yes, I want to be a chef, and I'm going to taste the abundance of all
That's
this stuff
right.
and put it together.
You know,
We're going to create. We're going to
yeah.
have fun creating on earth.
If you think about food, think about just food for a minute.
It's delight.
It's delight. And in Hawaii, they would say delight.
Delight.
Da, D-A, delight. And we're in the light when we're delighting. And so the taste of food, think about it, in our
It's
light bodies,
musical.
without this anatomy, we wouldn't be able to taste those wonderful recipes that you make, Andrew, and
But
everything
create
else.
them in the process. I
create
mean, you
them.
can think them and have them in heaven, but you miss
Right.
the fun, creative process of it.
It's the taste, the
So
touch,
time
and the
and
feel,
space.
and the fellowship around it, right? Every culture surrounds themselves around meals, and it's the family, it's the togetherness, it's the gathering time. And you know, a lot of times when if you're really honest, oh man, I'll be super transparent here about the dog and pony.
Okay, there we are.
So when I was doing all the dog and pony show stuff in religion, I could not wait for the meal. I could not wait to go eat. And I would venture to say that most people are
They'd
sitting
have
in
the
a
potluck afterwards, right?
or to go to the restaurants. Remember, you take your friends and
Yeah.
you say, what restaurant are you going to? And then you think about it all boring sermon. I mean,
Yeah.
you think about it all boring sermon. I mean,
I can't
you
wait
think
for
about
church
it.
after
I can't
church.
wait for church after, right? So you're sitting there going, oh yeah, man, I'm dreaming about the Thai food, or I'm dreaming about the buffet, whatever it may be. And there's reasons for that. It's like, if we would just have more meals around sharing around meals, and like real honest, authentic, genuine
Breaking bread together.
talks, or just revealing the hearts together around a good tasty meal, imagine how much healing would take place, right? Love the rebuilding, like Janine said, the rebuilding. It's the rebirthing and the rebuilding of that which has never been lost. See, we're just remembering. I have to remind myself all the time, I'm just remembering something that has always been there. Even pre-Christ, right? We say things like that in the religious world. It's just like, well, pre-Christian, pre-born again, pre-believing, you know. It's like, wait a minute. Last time I checked, I have always been one with the Christ in me. I just didn't know it, and neither did you. The born again experience is like the flash that happens at the moment of conception, which is a fascinating thing to watch on YouTube, by the way. The moment the sperm comes in and hits the egg,
There's that
there's
zinc,
that flash.
They call it.
It's
It's
called
a
a
zinc
flash.
layer, zinc flash. Yeah.
It's kind of like
Because
that.
of light.
Then the light burst happens and we have an awakening. We're like, oh yeah, I'm just remembering. That's what born again means. It just means, oh, I just had a flash of remembering. I woke up. And when you look at it that way, you guys, oh my goodness, it takes all the work out of it. It takes all the sweat and the toil and the 4 spiritual laws and me trying to lead somebody in a sinner's prayer and
Which
preaching
was
out
just
of my...
invented, like 140 years ago, the sinner's prayer. People think it's scripture. No, it is not scripture. If anything's scripture, it's God saying, I'm redeeming all things, right? All things. It's just like, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I mean,
I need to eat.
so, circling back, I wanted to touch again onto the whole thing of why people are turning to plant medicine. And they said it's because the spirit is desperate to feel something real. Religion didn't give them presence. The world didn't give them peace. Their internal compass is spinning. Their nervous system can't hold the pressure. Hence the guy that was driving up, going off with the other car. And their soul is knocking at the door. So, I mean,
yeah, guys.
we are in the awakening.
Aren't you so, doesn't it feel so free without any condemning voices that is really just somebody shouting at us, talking about maybe a minister or pastor, and not all of them are, guys, you know this, we said this before, we're not saying the whole lot of them are bad. No, there's some really great people out there. We're just looking at the system. We're looking at the conditioning behind the system, and we'll always look at it from that place. So we're not bashing anything more than we're looking at a construct and a system or an institutional mindset and saying, hold on a minute, there's way more to the story. That's all. We're just saying there's way more to the story in this thing. We dealt with all the bitterness and the anger and all that stuff years ago when we were being used and abused and going through spiritual abuse, which we'll share sometime, I'm sure, along the journey. But it was horrific. And for some people, it was a lot worse. Some people what are you talking about? I've never been abused in church, and that's fine. But our journey was to come to this point of unveiling Eden, to be walking in it and then speaking about it, going, oh my gosh, sound the alarm, so to speak. There is way more to the story than religion and institutionalism.
Yeah, there
incarceration.
Must be more.
There's way more to the story.
How ironic is that, guys, right? The world is saying there must be more, so I'm trying all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then people in the church building, of course, are saying there must be more. So, oh my gosh. Hey, guys, by the way, let us know if this is still coming through, because we've had alerts on here, low connection.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, send us up some thumbs up or something. But yeah, what are you guys feeling and sensing? You guys are right on track, though. You know the power of staying in joy, staying lighthearted, playing, all of that, and surrender. Oh my gosh, surrender is so key. Just to let go of any resistance, especially when things are coming up that, they used to work and they don't work anymore, or you feel a shift. It's just, wow, just remembering we're sojourners here too, what we came for, It's just like, it's so easy to anchor into the small self and anchor into what society says you should be doing. This is how we go to church, this is how we go to school, this is how we do,
Yeah.
Then you wake up out of your own Truman Show,
I'm going to check in here. Just keep going.
Yeah, so,
I just got to find out because we're not seeing the comments.
Yeah, we just want to make sure so we're not talking.
Yeah. So anyway, the whole idea of why, we've seen the importance of this more than ever, is that we've come to a point in our own lives that nothing else satisfies, nothing else matters. Is that if we can literally see why we're here, to embody, touch, taste, feel, experience something that's out of oneness, so to speak, in totality. We are already attached in oneness, the real us. But I'm just saying the separation for a body separation. We wanted to, every one of us agreed to this. We wanted to do this so that we could touch, taste, sense, and feel what love looks like embodied in a body.
Yes.
And that's the whole premise of why we're here. We're not here to build kingdoms. We're not here to get stinking wealthy and rich, although there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your life plan and that's what God's designed, then hey, spread the wealth, right? Okay. However, we're here to learn to love in these bodies. We already know how to love in our unconditional stance of who we are. Our posturing is love. That's period. But in our bodies, one with another, in conditioning, being conditioned. How about that? Everybody's been conditioned. So now we navigate our way to learning to love, or awakening to love in our bodies.
Yeah, it is so true. You know, we came to anchor in Eden, and it's the greatest show on earth right now, too, with the shift that is taking place. That's another reason why we chose to come. We wanted to be a part, to bring the Edenic frequency, the remembrance of home, back into the earth and begin to anchor it in like a tuning fork. More of us that are here. And I mean, think about it. I was thinking about this morning. It's like, my gosh, why there's been such a big genocide of lives in this generation and time, because we are all light carriers. You know, and of course, the less light carriers that are on the earth, the mimic system can just keep going. The false matrix can keep doing their thing, you know, keeping us dumbed down, using our creative ability to create for them. But the more of us that are on the planet, the more we're carrying that light remembrance. We are coded with heaven to bring Eden back online. And it's just amazing to me. So why we were watching the whole the zinc spark thing was because Zach Bush was sharing about how, you know, the power of the mitochondria, how it opens up light in your cells. I mean, we've got 70 trillion cells make up our body. We are a living, walking city of light, right? But if the mitochondria and the food reading, things like that, don't allow for the light to open up, it's they were saying why it's you know, fertility issues. I mean, it's just like crazy, because there's not enough light in the cells on either side to produce that zinc burst, to produce that conception. And so you think about everything that brings our light down, the density in environment, the density in the foods, the glyphosate that's been sprayed all over on the foods that totally alters your health. So it's just an all-out assault of taking the light out, and the light that produces creation, to bring souls onto the earth as anchoring lights, tuning forks, and everything. And so
procreate. Yeah,
I mean, we are walking portals, right, people? So
yeah. So I wanted to touch on too. Now we see your comments on this on our other phone. So thank you. For some reason it just froze here, but yeah, sometimes I can barely contain the joy I feel in learning to receive all God has for me. So I get to share the overflow. Yeah. It really is true, Janine, that, you know, oftentimes when we're put in a situation to where we feel that all there is this thing that religion calls, you know, fellowship, and we have to go, we feel that we should, or we have to go to these Sunday meetings, right? The mindset of the institutional mind, it's incarceration. There's only a couple letters separating incarceration from incarnation, right? Remember that. Incarceration, incarnation sound very similar.
Counterfeit, righteous, real.
Counterfeit versus real. And so incarnation means that I am a container of joy. The issue is that when joy bubbles up, it slaps up against a mindset that says that, wait a minute, is it okay to feel this joyful? Because the incarceration said that if I'm too joyful and not serious, then I'm not being godly. And one of the best things that we've ever heard.
That's what the mimic says. That is a mimic line right there.
One of the best.
101.
One of the best phrases we ever heard was, "There's nothing serious going on here," and there's really not in the kingdom. If you really think about that, just stop and think about that. There's nothing serious going on in the kingdom because it is childlike. Number one. Number two, it is full of joy and peace. It's everything that embodies the fruit of the Spirit. And where do you see anything depressing in the fruit of the Spirit? Love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, even long suffering. Long suffering just means that
gracious.
Yeah, it's being completely 100% gracious towards something or someone, right? And so when you look at all of that enshrined in a temple called a body, all it's doing is joy is continually knocking and saying, hey, let me out. Let me out. Just surrender a little bit more. Let me see a crack in the ceiling here, so to speak, so that I can see the light of day to bust out of you and start laughing hysterically. That's why we've had moments and movements of, joy gatherings and joy events and joy outbreaks across the earth. God is trying to remind us of something. Look, it's all about joy. Kingdom is about play. It's about joy. It's about having fun. It's about being wildly creative without the hustle. Do you know that when you're creative in your zone, and you tell us, Andrew and Janine and Michelle and everybody else listening, you tell us, what is it like? What does it feel like when you're in your flow, when you're in your zone? What does it feel like? It feels not like work, right? It feels like fun and play and joy and childlike, wild creativity, right? So my encounter with Christ in the book Effortless Provision, in the last section called The Artery of Creativity, that's exactly what he unveiled to me. This was a 2-year-long encounter that I had every time I sat down. It was dictation coming through me. And in The Artery of Creativity, he said, look, you don't get money by being creative. Money matches the resonance of play and fun, of creativity. Did you hear that? Money matches. It looks at it as a safety mechanism. Money. So say if money could talk, money would be standing here, hovering here and going, ooh, safe place, not so safe. Safe place, not so safe. It's always looking, engaging, because it's energy, right? Money is energy made into matter, just like everything else. So money's sitting there going, okay, wait a minute. There's somebody being childlike. There's somebody operating out of Eden. There's somebody in their wild creativity. There's somebody that's having a blast. I'm going to match that resonance. And the more we're in that resonance, the more we're in that flow, in that frequency, guess what? It piles on us. And then we're going, I don't really care about that. What I care about is the creativity. I want to stay in the juice and the flow of that, because that's where the fun is. That's where I'm having so much eminence of kingdom flowing through me. And so I can't tell you how many times we've engaged in something just like this is fun for us. This is fun. We're not working. Other times when we're creating like shitty designs, or we're writing, we're in the flow of something like that, just creating something, it is not work, you guys.
It's like you break out of time and space. You just hit, like they always say, the sweet spot, right? So yeah, it's just amazing, what we are just allowing ourselves, surrendering and allowing the real us to come forward. And again, to not rescue, to not try to jump in, to just really release people, release everything. Just say, not mine. I'm allowed to not take that on. I'm allowed to release the masks. I'm allowed to just let the real me come forth and enjoy it. And it's amazing how contagious it is when people see how much you're enjoying being you. It's so funny, isn't it? When we're in our illusions and we're trying to wear all these masks to get people to like us, and it never works, right?
Never.
But when we truly enjoy ourselves and laugh at ourselves and just have a blast being us, enjoying who God created and designed us to be, it is infectious. It's people end up mirroring that back to you. It's the wildest thing. Whatever we're believing about ourselves, people mirror back to us. And so,
oh man, stop right there for that one, please.
Whatever
we believing about ourselves, it mirrors people, places, things mirror back to us. Mm-hmm. So if I believe that I'm fat and ugly, or I don't look good on camera, or I'm always adjusting myself,
then those little thoughts are coming out. And
thoughts are coming people are noticing the little mole on my face. People are noticing, how I'm talking right now. People are not, that's the number one thing that stops people from getting online and on video or audio, of the fear of what other people think. If we'd have let that stop us, you wouldn't have been hearing from us at all, because I have a propensity in my egoic conditioning to want to disappear and just go live on an island and eat coconuts somewhere and just be alone, away from people. That's kind of my lower nature. But the real me wants to share the love and be around the creative flow and to not care what people think. And the same is with you. none of us came into this earth having a fear of man complex. That was conditioned into us. You notice that babies or toddlers don't give a rip about what anybody says or thinks?
No.
They don't.
The same with animals. I mean, it's just, I love it because it's still remembrance of Eden, of our homeland. And, oh man, you know, there's so much that is still blooming out of the original blueprint. This is why, again, it's so important to get back into nature and witness nature and let nature witness you. It will help you remember, you know, even like the Lord said, even the rocks will cry out because they're alive. And so it's just like the pitch of a dog, you know, that can hear sounds that we can't. There is sound going on all the time, but we have to still ourselves enough to see it. And this was something else that just hit us this week that was so good, and a good remembrance is a lot of times the reason we cannot see, we're wanting clarity and we're wanting to know what's next and all this kind of stuff, is because we just forgot to still ourselves enough for the water to become still and clear, so we can actually see the message coming forth. We can see the reflection. We can see what God is trying to reveal. And otherwise, it's just splashing white water everywhere and debris. You know? Why can't I hear God?
Yeah, you know, it has some good comments here.
Oh, yeah,
Even like Michelle said, even my job is enjoyable. I get to help most vulnerable seniors navigate resources. Hey, Michelle, we know we worked with seniors for years. Which you know,
you've been with us a long time on here. So
yeah, so it's like, we get what you're saying. Andrew, I'm doing a 31-day devotional for chefs, cooks, restaurant folks, interviewing highs and lows, comebacks through stories.
Oh, I love it.
I can do it all day long. Yeah, I love watching our grandkids play, even the rocks cry out. Yes. You know, you guys, here's what I would say to that that's just kind of bubbling up, is that the more we remember, it's all about remember. It's not about more knowledge.
And it's not about even becoming, because you
already
are.
We already are. We're already complete. There's nothing wrong with us. I said this to the men the other day on a video. I said, well, how would you live if you really believed that nothing was wrong with you? Because there isn't. Nothing wrong with you, or 100% complete and made whole, the real you, right?
Yeah, you're just
the quote wrong part is believing that there's something wrong with us.
And isn't that the true definition of sin? In the Aramaic, it breaks down to believing a lie about yourself, or the disharmony with your original blueprint. That is
disharmony.
What sin is.
That's it. Bent notes. Remember, we always talk about bent notes. The idea is to keep standing up in our note, so that we continually surrendering into it, so that note stands straight up, more so than not. So every time we are living in joy, that note begins to stand up straight and harmonize like a tuning fork to the grand song of all songs, which is the Edenic song. It's heaven on earth in you and in me and her.
Think about your body posture when you hear a song that you absolutely love, or when you smell that yummy Thanksgiving scent, you know, of the pumpkin pie, the spices are just, you stand up. You're like, oh, you straighten up, and it's just amazing, versus what obligations do. Oh, I should. All the shoulds. Now you got a bunch of should piling up on your back.
Should on your back.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we just designed a welcome mat.
Oh, welcome mat.
Hilarious. Oh, man.
It's really funny.
About to, leave your should.
No, it says, welcome to our shoulдлess home. Please wipe your should off at the door. It's a welcome mat. It's on our site, shouldydesigns.com. Anyway, I'm thoroughly enjoying doing that, because you can come up with sayings all day long. In fact, if you guys have some good shouldy sayings, email us or direct message us or whatever.
Yeah,
we'd love to possibly design it, if it makes sense, right? So anyway, I think, while we're wrapping this up, like you said, Andrew, you could do this all day. We could, but we just limit it to like an hour. But we really look forward to continuing the conversation, because it's just time to. There's more and more people that are getting really disgruntled and disgusted, frankly, with institutionalism and incarceration, and they're looking for freedom, but they're scared, right? When we first broke out of jail, so to speak, out of the religious system, it was scary. We had well-known people telling us,
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to lying spirits. You're listening to the devil. When you
Yeah.
hit the brick wall.
The banana that splits always gets peeled. I mean, we were like,
Yeah.
wow, you could write a whole dictionary topical for all the
Oh,
threats
yeah.
they tried to throw, you know?
And if you don't know who you are,
Or relationship with God personally.
yeah. If you don't have that relationship and you don't know who you are, you will stay there because you're so afraid that you're coming against God himself, right?
Mhm.
Which it's the biggest lie
Fire
ever
insurance.
perpetrated, is to keep us in the false matrix. And again, we're not saying, there's some churches that are great, there's some groups that are great.
Yeah,
Saying
community's good.
the system that was built upon egoism. And when we awaken out of it, you don't even know that you're blind while you're in it, right? Until you start getting hungry and dissatisfied. And then you're like, some well-meaning or not so well-meaning preacher comes along and says your dissatisfaction is of the devil. You better repent, You better fast and pray. Let's cast the devils out of you. But then something's not right. You know that what your spirit is saying. Your spirit...
You've tasted the righteous real.
You've tasted the real. And your spirit is saying something. So the Spirit of God pulled us right out, like many, many millions of others, to come to Eden. Remember when God was calling the children of Israel out, it was to come back to the remembrance of Eden with him in the cool of the day, walking in the garden,
And
having
as a
fellowship.
provider.
And as a provider, as the creativity, all of it,
But they were freaked out, right?
They were freaked
They were like,
out.
no, I'm going to go back into slavery because at least I had the leeks and I had the meat and I had all this kind of stuff. And they just like poo-pooed down. Oh, but yeah, I got whipped probably once a week, from the slave drivers. But I can handle it. Isn't that the whole thing? Is so ridiculous. Why we stay in toxic things, because we've learned to become, it's familiar. And the things we accept, and then it's like you just don't realize how much accepting we were of so much until we come out of it and I see the light, And,
That's right.
But that's why it's so good to taste the righteous real. Eat the quality, eat the real, the organic substance of Eden. And then you won't have a taste for all these false masks and junk and counterfeits and fake stuff. Oh my God.
You guys know
Yeah,
you can never go back, right? You can never go back. Like, it's so hard for us. Like, if we get invited to a meeting or something, we're gracious and sometimes we'll go. But then we're quickly reminded, not in a judgmental or critical way, we're just reminded that, wait a minute.
You start tasting the atmosphere. You're like, oh my gosh.
There's much more to the story. That's all. There's much more to the story.
Fear is still in this, or the mixture. And isn't that what the Lord always talked about? Mixing grace and law, I mean, how did the two mix? Or the wine, you can't put old wine into new wineskins. And so...
Yeah, you got to become the new wine of remembrance. You already are, like we said, you're already complete, but it's just remembering that, I am the new wine. I am the wine.
So drink up.
So drink
Go
up.
into bliss. Enjoy like crazy. So...
That's right. Okay, guys. We'll probably drop it right there, but thank you so much for all your encouragement.
Yes. Oh, you guys, you mean so much to us. Oh, my gosh. Janine,
Yeah.
Andy, Michelle, Ryan,
All of you.
everybody that jumps on here. I mean, you guys, thank you so much for always just reaching out and just letting us know what your response is. And it's just building family and just connecting with you all out there. It's just great. So
yeah, and we've tried to do this before many times. Many times, like, we've jumped on speaking a, quote, new language, so to speak, but it wasn't really new. It's just new to the system ears, and got just really...
New to the systemized.
We got neutered for it, But now we had to grow. We had to, in our expansion, we had to let the veil come off more so that now, and to really see that it was about Eden, and we had to get this download in Hawaii.
Yeah, we were getting pieces all along the trail.
We were getting pieces all along the journey, but now...
And then it just landed. This last season of just, wow. So we're like, oh my goodness, this is what we've just been so searching for, longing for. And, And it does, guys, doesn't it make so much sense too? I mean, how many decades did we just get stuck at all these encampments of religion and doctrine and moving our way through all these encampments? It's like, why didn't we just go back home? Like simplicity, go back to
Right.
Eden, go back to the beginning before there was all these doctrines of man and all these campments and stuff. It's like God said, unless you become like a little child, you cannot enter the kingdom. He was constantly turning us back. And then how Christ was called the second Eden. Second Adam, because he was reminding us, guys, this is what it looks like. This is the original blueprint. You can do this. I'm showing you. I'm a mirror.
Yeah.
That was his original purpose for coming, was to reflect back to us and sing back to us and unbend us from the bent tones that were put on us, trying to rewrite the music. And to
That's it.
bring us back in. And
That's
he
it
was
right
put
there.
on the cross because they were trying to take out the music. He was coming trying to play the music back to us, so to call us back home. So anyway,
much we could share on that
yeah,
one, and will. But
okay,
okay, guys.
Love you guys so much. Sending you big hugs and kisses, and
Yes.
we will talk soon.
All right.
Until next
Bye
time.
bye.